In the overall Chromebook conversation these days, there's a lot of discussion concerning price, value, and general bang for your buck. With Chromebooks being more about utility and speed and security and simplicity than other competing devices that run things like Windows or macOS, the general feeling is you want a Chromebook that's good at lots of stuff, but it's also good about not draining your wallet. The HP Elite Dragonfly Chromebook flips all of this on its head, and with an absolute laundry list of features, HP has built this device with a different sort of user in mind. This thing is for people who, like myself, know that ChromeOS is their operating system of choice, that the speed and simplicity and security I mentioned just a second ago are important, and they still want some of the niceties that come with more expensive laptops. If that sounds like you, the Dragonfly Chromebook might be right up your alley. Now, before we get into all of that, I think a quick look back is in order. A lot of people have scoffed at the price of the Dragonfly. It's expensive, and the versions I would recommend to most people start at an MSRP of $1,149 and just go up from there. Recently, however, the standard version with the Core i3 has dropped to as low as $869, and that kind of changes the conversation around this Chromebook. Remember the Pixelbook? At $999, that device was originally scoffed at too, and over time, the general consensus became that it's one of the best laptops ever made. Google put premium materials in that device, and HP has done the exact same thing with the Dragonfly, so we have to keep that kind of stuff in mind as we talk about this particular Chromebook. Instead of cutting corners, HP just went and built a high-quality laptop, and instead of giving us a bunch of reasons why things are left out here and there, HP just went and included everything. Is it expensive? Yeah, you bet it is. But as you'll soon see in this review, if you're looking for all the features HP has put into this Chromebook, it's simply going to cost more money. Period. When you pick up this Chromebook, you know right away that you're dealing with quality. The dark blue color of the all magnesium alloy chassis, the curves, the feel in the hand, the craftsmanship, they all shine. The clean HP logo on the back, the Chromebook logo across the bottom, and the chromed out hinges, it all just screams quality. There's no misaligned parts, no creaks, and all really tight tolerances all around this device. If you're looking for a gorgeous Chromebook, this one is high on the list. While it's thin and light at just 16.5 millimeters thick and 2.8 pounds, it's also substantial enough that it'll have all the ports that you want and need in a productive portable Chromebook. There are two Type-C USB 4.0 Thunderbolt ports, a USB 3.2 Type-A port, a micro SD card slot, a headphone microphone jack, and a full-size HDMI port. It's enough connectivity to keep you productive in just about any scenario, and I was even able to work without a dock when I chose to do so at my desk. The fan ports are also well positioned and tasteful, allowing plenty of airflow while not disturbing the overall aesthetic of the Chromebook. HP clearly took some time to make this all look very nice, and those design choices are part of what make this such a compelling Chromebook to look at and to hold. Things only get better from there. Open the lid and we get a beautiful high-res 13.5-inch 3x2 QHD panel that hits 400 nits of brightness. I've talked about aspect ratios plenty, but the quick version is this. 3x2 screens are great for web content. It makes your screen feel way larger, and with this screen size specifically, the 3x2 ratio actually gives you the same height as a 16:9 15.6-inch screen. It's so great for mobile use, and as we've seen with devices like the Acer Chromebook Spin 513 and 713, this screen size and resolution is an absolute win all around. As for the display itself, the colors are super vibrant, it's crazy bright, and the viewing angles are perfect. Seriously, I don't have a single complaint with this screen. Move on down beneath that screen and you get the keyboard and trackpad, and again, these are as good as it gets. The keyboard is spacious, backlit, and one of the nicest typing experiences I've ever had. There are some added keys up top too, allowing for one-click access to things like keyboard backlight on-off and your mic mute. But the other standard keys are up there as well, making this one of the best function rows we've seen on a Chromebook to date. As a welcome and expected addition at this price point, there is a fingerprint scanner just under the right side of the keyboard too, and as always, it works really well, it's fast, and I love having it there. We then come to the trackpad, and this one's special. It's the first all-haptic trackpad on a Chromebook, and it's been an absolute joy to use. There's no worry with travel or build quality issues since it has no moving parts to go wrong, and the haptic feedback feels really natural and very click-like. The benefits of a haptic trackpad are numerous. First, it'll never wear out. Second, you can adjust the firmness of the click based on your personal preference. Third, it can be clicked at any place on the surface and feels the exact same no matter where you push. Finally, it makes way for some interesting interactions, giving you a small bump whenever you change virtual desk with a 4-finger gesture or when you snap a window to either side of the screen. Not gonna lie, I'm now pretty spoiled by it. To the right of that trackpad is the spot for the wirelessly charging USI pen that comes with the Dragonfly Chromebook. It's a solid tip stylus, and it's basically the same one you get with the HP Chromebook X211, only in this new dark blue color to match the rest of this handsome Chromebook. It's USI and it works like you'd expect, but it does have a couple unique and handy tricks. First up, it magnetically attaches to the side of the Chromebook. And second, it charges wirelessly while it's there. It's a nifty trick that we're seeing HP borrow from Apple once again, and I like it a lot more than simply providing USI support, giving you a pen, and nowhere to really put it. Ultimately, I'd rather see a stowed stylus for a device like this, as the placement isn't great for moving it in and out of my bag on a regular basis, but that's just my opinion. I'm sure many users will appreciate the full-size pen and a decent place to keep it stored when it's not in use. We also have to talk about the sound that comes from this small Chromebook. With a quad speaker setup, 2 speakers face up above the keyboard and 2 more on the front edge of the device, this Chromebook has a full, wide, and loud audio output that falls shy only of the amazing Pixelbook Go. Catching up on shows or watching YouTube without headphones is a treat, and utilizing these speakers for video calling is exceptional. I figured they would be good, but I was still a bit surprised with the quality of the sound you get on this Chromebook. Speaking of sound quality and video calls, we have to call attention to the best webcam I've ever used on a Chromebook. The 5-megapixel sensor on the HP Dragonfly, along with some software tuning by HP, has made this my absolute favorite device for video calling. The details, the contrast, exposure, colors are so much better than other Chromebooks that I've come to the point where I don't want to take a video call without it. With a standard privacy shutter on board as well, there's no doubt that this is the best camera setup we've seen on a Chromebook to date, and I really hope that it sets the trend moving forward. Additionally, HP situated the dual mic array on the very top of the lid, making these microphones actually work in more of a 360-degree fashion for those times you need to get up and move around the room a bit when you're in a meeting. We tested them, and regardless of whether you are in front, beside, or behind this Chromebook, your audio comes through loud and clear, and when paired up with the excellent speakers and the excellent camera on this Chromebook, it all makes the Dragonfly the absolute king of video calling in the Chromebook world. On the inside, you'll find some variation of 12th gen Intel Silicon, up to 512 gigs of NVMe storage, and up to 32 gigs of RAM. Our model is equipped with the Core i5-1245U, 8 gigs of RAM, and 256 gigs of NVMe storage, making this the fastest Chromebook I've ever tested. Not that I expected it to, but this Chromebook never struggled to do anything. Never once did I ever have to consider how many tabs or windows or apps or virtual desks were open, and I don't think that I'm going to ever have to. While I've yet to test the 12th gen Core i3 that comes on the base model of this Chromebook, I'd wager it would be really fast as well. Early benchmarks indicate it is slightly less capable than the Core i5, but not wildly so. The biggest change would be the lack of Iris Xe graphics you get with the Core i5 and Core i7, but that's only going to matter for like Steam games and video editing down the road if you're interested in those things. Finally, with all that power on board, we have to talk about the battery, and those numbers were nothing really to write home about. They aren't bad, but they aren't exceptional either. I was seeing a solid 8 to 9 hours of actual use if I kept my screen brightness under control and near that 65 to 70% mark. If I cranked it up just a little bit, it would push me more into the 6 to 7 hour range, and after getting used to the epic battery life of ARM-powered Chromebooks, it's a little bit of a bummer. Still, with some proper management, you can definitely get a full day's work out of this Chromebook pretty easily without needing to go hunt for an outlet. And with all this power at bay, that feels like a win. All right. That was a lot to cover, but that's how it should be with a device this expensive. When nearly every part of the Chromebook is a standout, there's just a lot to talk about. And I think that's the takeaway with the Dragonfly Chromebook. HP didn't bother cutting corners or curbing costs, they just went for it. And exceptional hardware comes at a steep price. When you look at the same generation of Dragonfly laptops with Windows 11 on them, you'll find $2,000 price tags and up for similar specs. So it really is something to see the Core i3 version of a device with this much upside already retailing for well under $1,000, especially considering that you'll get updates every 4 weeks until June of 2030. In the end, it's still a Chromebook, so there are caveats that apply, just like with any other device that we review. There are software limitations that exist with ChromeOS, and though they're falling away more and more as time passes, they're still there. But there's things like parallels for Windows apps. There's the Linux container for development. There's Steam gaming on the way. There are multiple video editor options coming soon. And the power of the web is only expanding as we move forward. The list of things you can't do on a Chromebook is quickly dwindling. So when we talk about value propositions, ChromeOS is far less of a deterrent for general users than it used to be. So if that's the case, that means there is more of an argument for high quality Chromebooks like this than there's ever been before, and the HP Elite Dragonfly leans completely into that. If you're looking for the best deal and a way to get simple computing done on a budget, this is clearly not your device. But if you're sold on speed, simplicity, and security that ChromeOS offers, and you want hardware that comes without compromise, this is probably the Chromebook for you, even if it does cost a little bit more. But guys, that's it for this one. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up, head down there, hit the subscribe button, and be sure to ring the notification icon right next to it if you'd like to be alerted when we make future videos just like this one. Until next time, we'll see you.